Hey, welcome into another episode of Conquer Corona, where we are bringing you a new expert every day, Monday through Friday, during these crazy times of the coronavirus and seeing how people are surviving and thriving during uncertain times. We've got Shane Swanberg back on the show. Shane was on our show really like right as we were getting started back in the middle of 2019. And Shane, you and I talked a lot about wholesaling. That had been a big transition in your business, which I know was really working out well for you guys. But with everything going on right now, like what impact has this had on you guys specifically over in Northern California?
We've definitely felt it. I mean, California is one of the three states that have had the largest number of cases of coronavirus, but it's still very new. So a lot of people don't really know what's going to happen. But as far as what we're feeling with the effects of the coronavirus is I personally have 5 flip projects that are in rehab that I'm working on currently.
Wow.
And my fear, what I'm watching out for, is supply chain issues. A lot of our material is shipped from overseas, and and also there's the demand rush that's came in, not just for toilet paper and Purell, but for other building materials too. So I'm paying very close attention to that. So far, what I've seen, one example is we had windows that were ready to be picked up, and the day my contractor went to pick them up, factory was closed.
Wow.
Couldn't get them.
Wow.
Now, luckily, over the weekend in California, they have announced that construction is an essential business.
Okay.
Over the weekend. So the window manufacturer actually had opened up on Tuesday. So we were able to get those. So that was a big announcement that came this weekend. But overall, that's what I'm paying attention to, is I want to make sure my projects can still get finished, and that, any supply chain issues, that come up can still be handled, and I'm not able to have to wait too long for those things to happen.
Yeah, well, and I guess an even bigger question is, have you listed anything since all this went down? Are you seeing or fearing that ARVs are going to be a lot lower, just or maybe because you're not getting as many offers on houses, that you might not have the upsell to be able to basically put two buyers together and say highest and best. So are you worried about that at all?
Yeah, I'm definitely thinking ahead. We do have, outside of the 5 flips that we're rehabbing, we do have one project that is currently pending with a buyer, and we're about 10 days into the escrow. And so far, everything is good. The agent is communicating with us really well, and the buyer is still moving forward and proceeding. They had already had their inspections done, they had their appraisal done, and everything is going good. But I also have been paying attention to statistics, and I've seen a lot of escrows get canceled because of fear. So I think, certain people are going to have more fear than others, but so I am paying attention to that. More to your question with ARVs, we've had a real estate market that's been going up for a long time, over 10 years, and I've always had it in my mind that there is going to be a downturn eventually. So I've always made sure I've bought homes on really good fundamentals. And what I mean by that is not speculating on appreciation. And I think a lot of people can do that, especially in this time of year, because it's March. And these properties you bought in January, February, you're probably thinking, man, the best time to sell real estate is April, May, June. And I can speculate a little bit and maybe pay a little more than I should. I haven't done that. I've never bought on speculation. I've kept my margins in there. I have, at least a 10% margin on each project. So to answer your question, as far as the ARV, I have the ARV that I'm calling it the before virus ARV. And then you have your after virus ARV, which we don't know what that is yet. So it's just going to come down to rerunning comps once these projects are ready to go, and then pricing them aggressively where it's a really good deal. And I still think there's a big shortage on good inventory in the market. And also I've noticed new listings have kind of tapered off too. So there's not a lot out there for those buyers that have to move.
Yep.
Some people buy because they want to move, but there's also buyers that need to move.
Yep. Well, and I think the biggest thing that I've been learning so far in just talking to people that have been through the 2008 junk, are the big thing they're saying is this is different than 2008. This is not the market crash because of people not paying their mortgages. This is the market crash because of a phenomenon, a pandemic. And so they believe that, a lot of this will start to dissipate. But, let's play devil's advocate for a second and say that it doesn't. What the big issue that a lot of investors had back in 2008 that were flipping is that they were stuck with the exact same situation you're in. 5, 6, 10, 20 properties that they're in the middle of rehabbing. They can't sell them for a profit, and they pretty much have to take their losses. So have you thought about, if that is worst case scenario, what you're going to do with those properties, or maybe any advice that people, if they're in a similar situation, what they should be doing?
Yeah, I've thought about just throwing all of them or a couple of them on the market right now. But what's unique about this situation is technically buyers aren't allowed to go do showings and look at the properties. So does it really make sense to do that? And I think with my situation, I have a couple of them that are very close to the finish line, so I will have them on the market. And I think for those that lived through the past crash, they wish they would have sold faster at deeper discounts. So I'm not going to get greedy. I'm going to put these houses on the market at a very fair price, so that they do sell. And I should have a good profit margin. Obviously, things can change even by the time this recording comes out, and or in a couple weeks from now. So it's just really keeping your ear to the ground, paying attention, listening to podcasts like what you're putting out, where you can hear the opinions of people and what's going on out there. But this is definitely a very unique situation. What you said in the beginning is 100% true. It's not like the 2008 crash that had to do with mortgages. This one affected the stock market. Stock market dipped 30% right away. And we honestly haven't felt too much in real estate. And I don't think we really know what's going to happen. I think there is a lot of unemployment that's happening with a lot of retail businesses and restaurants and bars and things that have closed down. And when someone loses their job, they might not be able to make their mortgage payment that they normally would be able to make. And that can affect buyers who were going to go buy a house. If they don't have a job, they can't qualify for a mortgage. So I do think there will be some impact in real estate, but my crystal ball is broken right now.
I think a lot of people's crystal balls are broken. So, and just to speak to your point, I've got a friend that's in Redfin as a realtor, and they are doing a lot of virtual tours as well. So I think there are going to be some creative ways that online that people start to be able to sell houses during these times if it keeps on lasting too long. But I guess just bringing it back to your business, what are you guys focusing on right now? Are you in survival mode? Are you looking for opportunities? What exactly are you doing?
So we made the decision to keep buying. So we definitely want to keep buying. However, our fundamentals have changed. You need to adapt. Before virus ARV, after virus ARV. I think it's just important for those investors out there to have multiple exit strategies. And before, if there's not something like this going on, you could just basically count on being able to sell it as a flip and turn a profit. And if you can't sell it for the price you thought, you just discount it and you sell it and make less profit. With this situation, we don't know what kind of effect it could have on the market. The positive outlook could be that showings slow down for a few weeks, and then by Easter things are up and running and normal again, and we're right in the heart of real estate season and things are getting multiple offers and getting bid up. The negative outlook could be that unemployment spikes to 20, 25, 30%. People are losing their homes left and right, short sales, foreclosures, and people just can't qualify because banks have stopped lending and things have tightened up. That could be the negative output or outlook. So there could be a dip. There could be a dip of 2%. There could be a dip of 10%. There could be a dip of 30%. I don't know what that's going to be. So in the worst case scenario, if there's a dip of 30% and you're only factoring in a 10% profit margin, you could go out of business very quickly. So I think what I'm paying attention to is having those multiple exit strategies and running the numbers for them to be as a rental property also.
Okay.
Because if the property, if I buy it and it dips 50%, but it still pencils as a rental property, then it's okay. I'll just hold on to it and I'll pay my lender every single month like I was supposed to, and I'll rent it out and collect rent from the tenant who's qualified to live there.
Absolutely. So I guess my question is there, with hard money, a lot of hard money people are changing up their rates and everything in order to, it seems like in order to get a little bit more stringent with the deals right now, but also to help more of these deals that may be flips in the beginning to turn over to rentals. So are you using hard money on these deals, or are you using private money?
So I've only done one deal in the last 12 months that was hard money. It's been private money.
Good.
So one thing I've done is I like to be very proactive with my private lenders. I want to get in front of this. So I actually sent out my private lender interest payments 10 days early. So it's due April 1st and today's March 25th. They already all have their payments. And I also sent them an email and just kind of sharing my thoughts and how things are going with my business and making them feel very comfortable that they're still going to collect their interest. There's a lot of fear out there because there's talk of a moratorium on rent payments and mortgage payments, and no one's going to collect their rent and no one's going to get their money going forward. And I don't want my lenders to even think that's even an option for me to do. So I let them know, hey, you're still going to get paid. My business, we have capital. We've been flipping for the last couple of years and have made money doing that. And, we're not living by the seat of our pants. So as far as hard money lending, I have heard that the loan to value or the amount you can get has decreased. For example, if you're buying a house for 200 grand, you might have been able to get 180 of that at 90%. Now it might be 80% or 70%. So you're going to have a little bit more skin in the game because these hard money lenders also don't know what's going to happen. To answer your question, I'd say it's a combination of working with the private lenders that I have been working with, making them feel comfortable, making sure they get their interest payments, and reminding them, hey, you're lucky that you don't have your money in the stock market and you got this money invested in real estate with me as the operator. So they, feel like they're making a good decision, earning the interest they're earning versus losing money.
I think relationships and communication become more important than ever right now. So that's really awesome to hear. I think that's great advice, man. Hey, how can people connect with you if they want to ask more questions about your business model or just want to be able to see what you're doing?
Yeah, I'm pretty active on Instagram, so anyone can connect with me there. My handle is S_Swanberg. Again, that's S as in Shane _Swanberg, SWANBERG. Connect with me on Instagram, S_Swanberg.
Perfect. All right, Shane, thank you so much for helping our audience today to conquer Corona and survive and thrive during very uncertain times. Appreciate you, man.
Hey, thanks to you for putting this out there for everybody. Thank you.